tripping? What's poppin', y'all? I'm zooted. What's poppin', y'all? How y'all doing today? It's Monday. Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. Obviously, because I got Raw tonight. So it's Monday, y'all. August, how y'all feeling today? I know all the think people started school today. Some like half of Fresno started. The other half starts like next week or in a couple weeks. So that's what's up, man. Hope you guys been following up with your boys. Hey man, don't forget to go to my YouTube channel too. I got two of them. Well, one is a travel channel that I strictly just be traveling on. The other one is just the stuff I put on Twitch. It's essentially just like a clip channel, a clip a chip page and stuff like that. But that one's BNAS Live. So man, give your boys subscribe to some of those channels, man. I appreciate it, bruh. I don't know if did I show everything came in, bruh. Now, the only reason why I haven't built or not fun to build yet because I'm doing some she's here, nigga. The B55 B550 motherboard. So motherboard's heavier than I thought, bruh. Shit, that's what's up. So I had to crack him open already to see if everything was in there. So that got me pretty happy. So yeah, we on one. I don't know about playing the game. We got Raw. I mean, maybe I'll play the game in a little bit, but we do got Raw at 5. So we'll be peeping that. And I think tomorrow is gonna be PC build day, man. So I really, 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 I'm investing a lot in this. You know, essentially, I really want to get some views off that, man. For real, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be funny, and we just could just pray that everything we bought off Facebook Marketplace works. You know what I'm saying? So, but let's get to this YouTube. I think I see some news, and then we'll probably just finish out that season. So let's see what's on the tubes. Let's see what's on the bloody tube. Make myself smaller. Hold on, do a little adjustment, man. Japan, a couple months, y'all, in county. Uh, see what we got going on. Okay, we got some new shit.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Randy Orton CM Punk confrontation coming to Raw, MJF breaks his silence, Triple H has his eyes on AEW star, the Judgment Day getting a huge change, Dave Meltzer's L take, Randy Orton's shocking statistic, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story.
Who likes to read it? Why's my monitor cricket for?
Now first we look at the Randy Orton CM Punk confrontation coming to Raw. Atop of today's news is the potential for some major fireworks on Raw. Randy Orton is scheduled for tonight's Raw, a situation that has some fans speculating that he might cross paths with CM Punk. While Orton is a SmackDown superstar, he's currently involved with World Heavyweight Champion Gunther and will face the Ring General at Bash in Berlin. However, that clash may be a detour tonight if some fans' speculation turns into reality. Orton's history with Punk is well known, as the Apex Predator clashed with Punk and Punk's New Nexus in 2011, leading to a match at WrestleMania 27. While that was 13 years ago, Triple H's focus on continuity has led to buzz that neither man has kayfabe forgotten what happened, and there'll be a less than pleasant stroll down memory lane. While nothing has been confirmed, it seems like too good of an opportunity to pass on. There's also chatter that Orton and Punk might team up, possibly against Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Next up, MJF breaks his silence. MJF is disputing the narrative that's made the rounds recently concerning the alleged incident involving himself and Dr. Britt Baker, an incident which led to Baker's brief suspension from AEW TV. In case you missed it, the rumor is that Britt Baker confronted MJF's girlfriend Alicia Tao after Tao allegedly told MJF Baker was complaining about him. At one point, MJF allegedly punched a wall, but he wasn't suspended. The current American champion spoke with Jack King from Cultaholic about the rumored ruckus. Tell me if this passes the smell test. I barge into a women's locker room. I scream in the face of a 110-pound woman, and then I physically threaten her by punching a wall in her vicinity. I don't get suspended. Does that pass the smell test to you? Almost everything that was written didn't happen. MJF broke the situation down. Everybody has co-workers at work they may not get along with. I have a feeling that this was blown out of proportion because all of the English wrestling commentary places that make money off people like me, who are far more rich and talented and handsome and humble, need clickbait. Or whatever the conflict may be, MJF has said he has no problem putting people over as needed, and added that he's expecting All In's Mercedes Moné vs Britt Baker match to be an epic match. Next up, Triple H has his eyes on AEW star. Is current AEW star Daniel Garcia staying in AEW, or is he headed elsewhere? Fightful Select reports that Garcia's AEW deal is expected to expire in October, and that WWE is interested in signing the 25-year-old talent. However, the Fightful report noted a top talent in AEW believes Garcia is staying and may have already put pen to paper on a new deal. Garcia is written off TV after MJF kayfabe injured him, a situation which could explain Garcia's absence if he chooses to leave AEW. At the same time, it could also set things up for a major feud with MJF if Garcia decides to stay. Garcia is seen as a star with the potential to break out in the main event, and while he's occasionally broken out into the upper card, he's found himself in the same situation as other talent, a lack of opportunities caused by the combination of AEW's bloated roster and its incredibly uneven booking. Next up, WWE eyeing another international PLE. Is the WWE bringing an international PLE to Mexico? While nothing has been confirmed, Pro Wrestling Nexus recently tweeted, "Mexico, they hear you too, trust. July shows were a fun test." This follows a recent rumor that Italy may get a PLE in 2025, just the latest example of how the WWE has expanded its PLEs from North America to around the world. The benefits have been tremendous in terms of ticket sales. It's also been a way to keep demand high for WWE PLEs, as fans in North America have less PLEs to attend every year unless they plan to travel. Throw in the rights fees the WWE gets from municipalities for hosting events, and it makes sense to continue this practice. Next up, Judgment Day getting a huge change. Those intriguing rumors concerning one of the WWE's most popular factions. WrestleVotes recently tweeted, "Plans are in motion to rebrand the new Judgment Day. Sources say that the group's essence will stay the same, but a name change is likely. The leading candidate is an out-of-the-box yet bold idea, Street Trash." The name Street Trash sounds unusual to say the least, and there's no word as to why WWE wants to change a name that has become synonymous with the dominant force on Raw. Granted, wrestling fans have seen some bonkers decisions before, so this can't be ruled out. One good thing coming out of last week's Raw was a big reveal that the Judgment Day was sticking around, albeit with a new lineup that exclude Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Some fans and pundits believe that the group was finished after SummerSlam when Dominic Mysterio betrayed Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor turned on Damian Priest. The Judgment Day still has plenty of gas in the tank as a group, and it wouldn't make sense to split them up, especially since the group benefits members Carlito and JD McDonough. Next up, a big night for Odyssey Jones. Tonight's Raw looks to be another action-packed show, including an in-ring debut of Odyssey Jones. Jones, who finally debuted on last week's Red Brand to lend a big hand to New Day against the Final Testament, is scheduled to wrestle tonight. Jones uploaded a video message on X saying,
"I just got the word that tomorrow night, August 12th on Monday Night Raw, I am making my debut in Austin, Texas. Yes, sir!" So like they say, baby, everything is bigger in Texas. So Austin, y'all better show up and show out. And everyone watching better get y'all popcorn ready, cause Big O is about to put on a show.
Jones's opponent is currently unknown. However, the big man may have a target on his back after embarrassing the Final Testament's AOP last week. Did you guys see Odyssey Jones's debut last week? If so, what did you think of it? Next up, Dave Meltzer's El Take. Kevin Owens is scheduled to challenge undisputed champion Cody Rhodes at Bash in Berlin, but Dave Meltzer wasn't impressed with how the WWE set the match up. He commented on the Wrestling Observer Radio saying, "This is actually one of the weirdest angles I've ever seen. You should always be going for a championship. A guy offers you a championship match and you're going in there and turning it down? That is makes no sense. You talk about something that makes no sense. This makes no sense." Now, the community lit up after Meltzer's musings, with many fans asking if Dave even watched SmackDown. If he had, he would have seen Kevin Owens playing a classic babyface who felt his record didn't justify a title shot, but who Cody Rhodes eventually convinced did deserve one. The exchange between Owens, Rhodes, and SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis relied heavily on Owens' history with Roman Reigns too. KO protested the idea of Roman Reigns getting a title shot, pointing out how he'd cheated throughout his 3-year run as champion. Owens even discussed how the WWE got rid of its rematch clause, another example of how the WWE writers enjoy using the past to craft new stories. Interestingly, Cody offering KO a title shot could play into the rumored rivalry between Randy Orton down the road, as Orton, who will likely turn heel, can claim Rhodes never offered him a title shot. Next up, AEW is successful. Speaking of the Observer's main man Dave Meltzer, he recently remarked on whether AEW is successful. It's so weird because they're on the verge of being a completely successful company according to Tony Khan. By traditional metrics, they're very much a struggling company. They're really struggling to sell tickets right now, and obviously the TV ratings. AEW has struggled for the last year and a half in terms of TV ratings and ticket sales, but a lucrative TV rights deal could change everything. The wrestling industry has changed where the majority of profits come from the rights deal. Around 2019, the WWE was struggling with its TV ratings and ticket sales, but the big money deals for Raw and SmackDown, not to mention WWE's Saudi Arabia deal, made up for this where the WWE could weather out the storm. Do you think AEW could get a lucrative TV rights deal? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, did AEW sign the nephew of WWE Hall of Famer? It looks like AEW may have signed another star. Fightful Select is reporting that there are rumors that AEW signed Tommy Billington, the nephew of WWE Hall of Famer The Dynamite Kid. The report stressed that neither AEW nor Billington has confirmed the signing. While Billington is another marketable star, it's difficult to get excited about any AEW signing given the company's awful record of using the talent they have under contract. At the same time, you can't fault wrestlers for signing contracts because who wouldn't want a guaranteed deal that may pay more than the indie scene and has the potential for bigger things, even if the chances are less than you'd expect. And finally, Randy Orton's shocking statistic. Last but not least, Randy Orton still puts on jaw-dropping performances in the ring, but you might be shocked by his win and loss record at PLEs. According to CageMatch.net, Orton's last PLE win was in 2021's WrestleMania 27 against The Fiend. This is 1,219 days without a singles PLE win. Now granted, Orton was not around for about 18 months, but that's still a dismal record and not a good omen for Randy's upcoming title shot against Gunther at Bash in Berlin. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below.
2021 is crucial. And make sure to get that boy a subscribe. Shout out to that boy WrestleMania. Nah, that's crazy right there, 2021. Damn. Look at that. Let's see what that boy Pat got talking about. Oh, this is kind of crazy.
The back and forth between Penguin Zero and Sneeko will go down as one of the most controversial.
I didn't know nothing about this, man. You know, I'm new to this streaming stuff, as you can tell. But I heard this beef through the Brandon Buckingham thing I watched, his motivational video, and he talked about this, I guess, because he had got into it with Sneeko. And I guess he challenged Sneeko, and Sneeko said no, but he would relentlessly challenge Penguin Zero, who's maybe half the size of the person as Brandon Buckingham. So I don't know. Let's peep game down.
And intense beefs in internet history. On one side, we have Moist Critical, aka Charlie, who is widely loved and respected on YouTube for having reasonable opinions on a variety of different subjects, from pop culture to video games to menial drama to serious social issues. On the other side, we have Sneeko, who is often mocked and despised on YouTube for his extreme and controversial opinions on most of these same topics, but he is more so focused on social issues, religion, and politics. And over the years, whenever they have decided to come together and hash out their differences, an absolute firestorm of chaos would ensue on every social media platform afterwards. Today we're going to discuss their entire feuds, starting at the very beginning when Sneeko and Charlie had both publicly expressed the exact opposite opinions on the film Cuties. Cuties was a 2020 Netflix film about a talented 11-year-old girl who rebels against her conservative family's traditions and joins a free-spirited hip-hop dance troupe. The film received criticism because of how it sexualized children, showing frequent close-up and slow-motion shots of underage girls' midsections, crotch, butts, also showing them dancing provocatively, aka twerking, humping the ground, legs spread, in minimal skin-tight clothing or underwear. Most people who watched the film found it disgusting and distasteful, no matter the message the film was trying to convey. Charlie released a video called "Cuties is Worse Than You Think," where he gave his thoughts.
In all possible definitions, this movie is an entire movie sexualizing children. I understand that the point of the movie is supposed to make you uncomfortable with the subject matter of kids being sexualized. It's supposed to speak out against how it's a terrible thing, but it's so poorly conveyed that they've just ended up making a movie that hypersexualizes kids. There's so much ass shaking, so much touching from the girls, slapping, and it's just disgusting. And the camera operator, I don't know who's working the camera for this movie. It must be Dan Schneider, because the camera operator's like going up each girl's crack, going like right up for a colonoscopy. When they spread their legs, he like speed runs over there to the camera as close as possible. And again, these are actual children actresses. These aren't adults playing kids. These are actual 11, 12-year-olds. They're children.
On the contrary, Sneako released a video titled, I Have a Confession, Cuties is my new favorite film, where he explained how he assumed the movie was going to be terrible and repulsive, but actually thought the overall message was positive.
They know that this movie is going to age very well because it points out a generational problem. Yes, there are scenes where the girls are dancing and like probably a little too much, but then immediately after they're crying. And then they face the consequences of their action. They're ridiculed by their classmates. The thing about Cuties is it's not an unrealistic film. Like, yes, it shows children in a sexual way, but this is not unusual now. And the people who are really mad about this aren't Gen Z. What the film actually points out is a difference between generations, how it doesn't really make sense to force kids to be in this completely religious praying, throwing water on them. And the only solution that the parents had for when the girls in the movie started acting out was to just bring other family members into the household, and like they had the uncle put his hand on the girl's forehead like, like that's not gonna do anything.
Ironically, Sneako's view on religion being the solution to prevent these girls from participating in this sexual behavior would drastically change over the next couple of years. Also during this video, Sneako would throw a slight jab at Charlie's reaction to the film.
Americans are like, this is deplorable. I saw this commentator, Penguin Zero, who I actually like. There's not a lot of good commentators, but he's like, this movie is deplorable. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing. And it's like he didn't even watch the movie. It's just like he only saw the clips that were gonna piss him off. Or he just got so triggered by the provocative imagery that he just, deplorable. Come on, man. Like, don't you see the reasons why she's doing what she's doing?
Charlie ignored Sneako this time, but this was only the beginning. Over the next couple of years, Sneako's opinions would become more controversial, sometimes radical, which ramped up to new heights directly coinciding with the rise of Andrew Tate, who in the summer of 2022 absolutely exploded in fame for his unapologetic and often extreme takes on various social issues.
That's the world we live in now. Females are entitled and fucking lazy.
Another thing I learned is that women are only loyal to the they're sucking.
Sneako seemed to halt all attempts to clearly and concisely express his thought-out opinions to being more brief, bold, and loud.
Pride, yeah, I'm a girl and I don't shave my armpits.
Preach this bullshit idea about tolerance, love, and acceptance. We'll also say die if you disagree with me.
In one sense, he alienated a lot of his previous audience who preferred his calmer and level-headed approach to conveying his opinions, even if they were disagreeable. Then again, his audience size exploded, seeing bigger growth in 2 months than he did in 10 years as a YouTuber. So there was no incentive for him to stop doing this new exaggerated behavior. He became the second lead voice for the popular red pill alpha male community online outside of Andrew Tate, not for being a polished professional, but rather someone who is reckless and fearless of any consequences for calling out and exposing the mainstream left wing. And in October of 2022, his explosive growth was stunted when he was banned from YouTube entirely. And we don't actually know the specific reason as to why he was banned. YouTube stated that they have decided to remove his channels due to severe and repeated violations of their terms of service. And if you were to analyze his content at the time, it could be interpreted as bullying, misogynistic, hateful, or like the time when he simulated himself sexually assaulting another YouTuber.
You can tell by the way she's talking that she hasn't been properly in a long time. It's been a while. So she's on the internet making this garbage video, promoting all this feminist garbage to your lonely girls in the comment section. What you really need, chat, is some Shut up with your feminism.
Whereas others look at his content as merely free speech. or that he was being cherry-picked by YouTube and unfairly targeted, since there is tons of content on YouTube that's fully monetized that could be interpreted as harmful for children or promoting degeneracy, as well as the known pedophiles and scammers that are still not banned. But Sneako's ban prompted him to upload and create content on the online video platform and web hosting site Rumble, which has been coined the free speech platform due to its extremely lenient terms of service. Sneako did not change his viewpoints, attitudes, nor behaviors, but now it was just being seen by far less people because Rumble's viewership pales in comparison to YouTube. However, one day Sneako seemingly took things too far when he decided to bring up Charlie's girlfriend. And I'm gonna bring up today's sponsor, Factor. Eat stress-free this summer.
That's a Factor.
In this video, Charlie is poking fun at an influencer in the Red Pill community who runs a podcast called Fresh and Fit.
You know, we're both a triple-digit notch count. He's in the quadruples.
There is no reality in the entirety of the f***ing multiverse where this man has slept with one woman, let alone over 1,000 of them.
Sneako, who is friends with Fresh, decided to fire back at Charlie.
He gets more than you. He does. You need to learn game, you need to be successful, you need to learn how to DM the right people, you need to learn how to talk, how to be charismatic, how to network, how to be in the right places. Fresh has got this shit down, and I didn't believe it till I saw it. I didn't think he was a virgin like every other liberal on here talking down. He gets more than you.
Fresh's original video was him explaining how he was at a bar in Miami and an NBA player came up to him and asked him where a good party spot in Miami was. Fresh told him, then claims the NBA player asked him for his Instagram. The NBA player followed Fresh and then saw on the mutual following tab that Fresh was following a girl that the NBA player claims he slept with, and Fresh said that he was also sleeping with her, making them wiener cousins. But Critical suspected that this story was entirely made up.
Why would this NBA player care to add him on Instagram? NBA players, celebrities, they don't follow like anybody at all, except for like actual close friends or business partners or something like that.
You've never been outside of Miami.
We're really in the metaverse, y'all.
You don't know what the club life is like. Why are you speaking on shit you don't know anything about? Go play League of Legends, bro, with the G-Fool in the background. Why are you talking about this lifestyle if you don't live it?
Stupid.
He's insisting that he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Insisting, this guy's only just jerks off. NBA players don't do this. What do you know? You look like you have a Pokemon poster in the back. Stick to gaming and shut the f up.
So why would he add a complete stranger who he only asked one question to?
Networking, because this is the truth about it, and it sounds like some sucking when you first hear about a world that you don't know about. It's networking. High net worth individuals, when they recognize real, like if they see the jewelry or they see their surrounding or they're at a different section, you want to be around money. Money attracts money. That's how you get friends in different places. That's how you go into a club, even though you're a millionaire and they let you in just because they want you there.
And then Sneako decided to bring up Charlie's girlfriend.
Someone just texted me. I'm not gonna say names. Someone texted me. He's in a monogamous relationship. This is his girl. So there you go. I mean, I told you, like, I could hear it in your voice. The fact that someone doesn't have to abide by those rules, someone could go and f a lot of bitches, that it's so foreign to a lot of people's ideas, because when you get brainwashed, when you get told that monogamy is the answer and you need to go and be married and just settle down with some girl, when you hear other people talking about stories like this, you're like, there's no way it's true. You're a virgin.
Sneako bringing up Charlie's girlfriend without explicitly saying why was random. He just threw his hands up and shrugged his shoulders, seemingly avoiding what he actually wanted to say. The fact Sneako tried to roast Charlie with a photo of probably the most wholesome and healthy relationship I've ever seen. We live in a time where a simple healthy relationship between two people is called cringe. This was enough to get Charlie to finally respond to him in a video called "I didn't want to talk about this."
What the f are you even talking about? What does this have to do with anything? What does bringing up a picture of me and my girlfriend have anything to do with anything that has happened? And where is monogamy even coming from? You're fighting an invisible enemy right now. You're fighting ghosts that aren't real. Like, none of this had anything to do with the video itself of me joking about a stupid f***ing story that this guy told. Like, it's so weird.
Charlie also addresses why he never responded to Sneako 3 years earlier when he was mentioned in his Cuties video.
This was my first real exposure to Sneako, and it's also the reason I don't care what his opinion is of me, because it's coming from a man who likes cuties. So why the f would it matter if he thinks I'm a or anything like that? It legitimately couldn't mean less coming from a guy who openly defends a softcore child production.
Charlie then brings up a clip of Sneako on a podcast talking about a time where he watched his girlfriend have intercourse with another man at a swinger party.
We went to a couple different parties. Yeah, so we go in there with the mentality that whatever happens inside that party, it just stays at the party. Like,
Yeah.
And so I saw her. I've seen her other men, and it's just like that was.
Seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. Like,
You've seen it?
So I wanted to break this down, like, because this was imagine seeing the girl you love,
Bro,
like.
I don't see much of this guy around, bro.
Yeah, I do.
Anymore.
I love
Funny.
So if it's gonna happen, I might as well see it, supervise it, make sure everything's okay.
Wait, what? No, you didn't have to jump to that conclusion.
Well, I don't.
Hold on.
Wait, how close was it?
We were on the same bed. I was with his girl. He was with my girl.
You
like
was
right here.
on the bed?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
But I couldn't, like, it was, I was literally having PTSD watching that. I was like having war flash. Like I just could not do it.
So did they?
What position?
No. It was missionary. Missionary legs up. Like
missionary legs up?
Legs up, yeah.
Oh no.
Was
That's
he staring at her, like in her eyes?
Yeah, like deep eye contact.
Oh no.
Deep eye contact. Right in there. No. Well, no. Okay, so let me backtrack.
Oh shit.
Top me, and she's, I don't know, yo. I'm just not. And my girl's right here, and she's like, and I'm like, oh, yo. I'm like feeling traumatic thoughts, like seeing her with another person. It's a lot. But I think it's something everybody should do just to test.
I don't know about that, player.
It is a legitimately super sad thing to sit there and listen to, because Sneako is very clearly bothered by that whole situation, but is trying to play it off like a deeper message, like, no, this is actually a good thing, and in fact, I recommend every guy out there try letting their girl get by another man. Then you'll know if it's real, if this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. It is tragic to listen to. Now, I want to be clear, I have absolutely no problem with open relationships. I think everyone should be completely within the right to handle their relationships however they see fit and whatever makes them happiest. But what Sneako's talking about here isn't so much an open relationship, it's cuckoldry. You have watched your girl get f***ed in front of you on at least 2 occasions that he talks about here. And you were right next to her, watching her get f***ed, and one time you were so upset about it you had to leave the room after the 3rd pump, you said.
This video got nearly 7 million views, so Sneako had millions of people who likely never knew much about him before calling him a cuck, as well as someone who potentially is interested in CP due to him defending the Cuties movie. But Sneako believed his podcast clip about the swinger party was taken out of context.
It was my intention to go to the swinger party because I enjoy seeing one of my girls with another guy. No, I wanted to swap with the couple to make it fair for her because I was being guilted. I felt bad that I was cheating a lot. We had done threesomes many times and it wasn't fair. The thing is, it doesn't have to be fair. The goal of a man is to be the best man possible, where things are, in that scenario, it doesn't have to be equal. It is what it is. And I'm honest. I'm an honest person. I talk about everything. The only 2 things that they have against me are the Cuties movie and that. And they'll continue bringing it up again and again and again. And I'll continue streaming and spreading the truth.
Charlie had no intentions to respond and keep the back and forth going, but Sneako would constantly beg Charlie to debate him.
I don't care about drama. I would like to have a discussion. I would like to have a debate with this guy. I would like to, if he wanted to come to Miami and come on Fresh and Fit, sit at a table in real life and have a discussion about male-female dynamics. Oh my, but he won't do it. He won't. Come on the show and debate. It'd be great content. If it's the most laughable show ever, if it's so bullshit, then you should be able to laugh your ass off and make these butt jokes or whatever the f you're talking about. Come on the show and debate. If you're so much better than it, if it's so, then it should be easy. It should be light work, but you won't.
And eventually, Charlie would take the bait. But throughout the end of 2022 and beginning of 2023, Charlie completely moved on and never talked about Sneako. But Charlie's face would often be used in Sneako's branding as a way to represent the soy boy or woke mind. He would use Charlie's face on thumbnails even if the content had nothing to do with him. Sneako would also use this collage of YouTubers who made commentary videos about him, grouping them together as people who are controlled by the Matrix and pushing the liberal agenda. One night, while promoting a live stream, he tweeted the photo, "Pattern recognition. This collage is everyone who advocated for my cancellation. Fight back and follow my rumble." To which Charlie replied, Holy you pathetic, sensitive, soy little worm. I made fun of you for watching your girlfriend get effed by numerous other men and also insulted you for defending CP. That's not cancellation, that's just spitting on you for being a pitiful, sad cuck.
Damn,
This tweet
Charlie.
got 345,000 likes and over 28 million views. An absolute bomb was dropped on Sneako, to which he replied, "You know in your soul you would never say that to my face." And then, like this tweet if you want to see us fight, which got 43,000 likes and 9 million views. Additionally, on a live stream, Sneako sent some of his viewers over to Charlie's stream on Twitch to tease him. Sneako then proceeded to pull out a pistol while dancing and waving it at the camera, while also alluding that he would pull up to Tampa, Florida, where Critical lives, since Sneako is in Miami.
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips.
And the way Charlie responded to Sneako's threats would set the internet on fire.
But he's a imbecile, you absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute dummy. The same way that this is also
They got that goddamn it on them.
They're all mags. Stop saying clips, you look stupid here.
Not only was Charlie educating him, but he was also taunting him with his much larger and more powerful weapon. I cannot overstate enough how viral this moment was. You can find multiple Reddit threads with thousands of upvotes sharing this clip, an endless amount of viral tweets highlighting the situation, and literally every single reaction streamer on the internet reacted to this video. Charlie's video, which was called Sneako is Horrible, has over 15 million views and is Charlie's 7th most viewed video of all time, which is insane considering he has uploaded 5,500 videos over the past 16 years. Millions and millions and millions of people saw this video, or at least a clip of this video, and 99.9% of people were on Charlie's side. As if Sneako couldn't get dunked on any harder, Meat Canyon, one of the largest animation YouTubers on the platform, made a video poking fun at the entire situation, which got over 13 million views.
What? Is that Charlie? Hey, yo, baby, baby.
Oh,
Can
no.
you and your man take this into the other room, please? I can't hear myself think with all that love making you're doing.
Fine,
Thank you
whatever.
so much,
No
baby.
problem. No problem, Sneaky. No problem.
It's Sneako. It's Sneako. Yo, chat! Charlie is at my door! What should I say to him?
Sneako realized it was a joke, but still felt like he had to defend himself.
He knows what I talk about. He knows my message, but he's focusing on all the things to try to invalidate what I'm saying. He's calling me a cuck, calling me skinny, and trying to make Moist Critical Charlie seem like the badass, even though that guy doesn't really leave his house, even though he would never say the stuff that he says, the insults that he says, to somebody's face. He will do a debate with me on my phone, but he'll edit it up and he won't come and actually even sit for a live debate. It's pretty much all a lie. I get that this is funny, right? Like, oh, Sneako's dying, but it is purporting a lie. He will say, what Meat Canyon did in this reaction video is he pretended to like, oh, people are calling me out saying Meat Canyon went woke. I don't really know what Sneako talks about. Yes, you do. If you know enough about me to where like, you know about my relationships in the past, or you know, like what the details of my room, right? You know what I talk about, but you're choosing to ignore it to try to invalidate my character, because what I talk about, you can't really argue with.
If the beef ended here, it would have easily nailed the coffin shut. Charlie would have been seen as the clear winner who dismantled a guy that started the beef in the first place and just wouldn't leave him alone. But the beef did not end here, and over time, the tides would slowly turn in Sneako's favor. Even after being eviscerated online, Sneako would quadruple down on his love for the movie Cuties. Cuties is really about how important Islamic values are in the face of satanic wokeness. I love Cuties.
I will continue to defend the movie Cuties until Moist Critical decides to debate me about it.
So Charlie said, alright, let's talk.
I'm not a debater. I actually am not a fan of debates in general. I prefer just general conversations as opposed to these like gotcha and leading questions and traps and I think that's not very conducive to actual understanding of different sides of arguments. But here, this was a very laid back, very calm and collected Sneako who was actually more than willing to concede on some of his points as well as see different sides of situations.
Charlie and Sneako had a private Discord conversation, but Sneako asked Charlie if he could record it so they could both post it on their platforms. Sneako posted the entire raw 1 hour 18-minute conversation, and Charlie posted a 1 hour and 14-minute conversation and interrupt moments to explain himself and add additional commentary and clarify his thoughts in retrospect. It took them 20 minutes to come to a very simple conclusion.
So there's two ways the movie could have been changed to be more effective and that people would understand
still talking
the
about the
message.
movie.
One, they could have used child actors and they should not have been sexualized in that way. Or two, they could have been 18 plus and it could have been sexualized, but then it wouldn't have been as effective. One of the two should have changed. I agree.
Okay, so then do you think there's like levels to sexualization of kids that is acceptable and then unacceptable?
What the hell are we talking about here?
No, this is never acceptable to sexualize children, but
Then we agree. So then can we then say, since this film sexualized children, I can't really champion the film. However, the message is okay. Like, I like the message.
I agree completely. But the reason I defend that movie is because I think everybody just saw those scenes and looked past the message and looked past the good moral that the director had when making it.
That could very well be the case for some people, right? 100%.
But then they chatted for another hour on various topics that they disagreed on. Charlie was trying to do everything in his power to understand yet challenge Sneako's belief system, to ask him questions for deeper explanations, to point out the hypocrisy in his behavior online, and try to find the nuance in many of his arguments. Time and time again, Charlie made good arguments that were very rational. And while Sneako was willing to concede on some points and admit that at times he can be contradictory or hypocritical, overall he remains firm in his beliefs no matter what and will not change them. Because he doesn't think that his beliefs are controversial. He thinks that they're the truth and that the truth is controversial.
What I've realized in this, that you should make those intentions more clear. Because I had no idea about how to be. I knew that you play video games, you reacted to what's popular, wrestling stuff, and you try to, like, people, if they're tired after work, they can go watch me game. That's what I know you for. I think that you should make that more clear. I make that specifically clear in all my streams, and you think it's repetitive because I want people to know exactly what I believe in. It's not controversial for clickbait. I have a specific worldview.
The worldview that you have is one that contradicts with what you put out online.
Additionally, Sneako believes that Charlie fails to express his true belief system online and is not being a positive role model for his audience.
What do you think I stand for, Sneako?
I have no idea what you stand for.
Then
I've
why
watched
do you
your
keep...
videos. I don't know what your beliefs are. It's not clear. It's not clear, and I think that now, seeing what's happening to Andrew and Tristan Tate and what's happening to men who push the ideas that I push, I think it should be very clear for everybody watching that you watch a content creator that has a specific ideology. I've watched you like in high school and college, and it's like drama content, you're covering stuff in the news. I have no clue what your belief system is. I've seen your music videos with the Antichrist, and you're smoking weed, and you play a lot of video games, and you kind of, like, there's a lot of other commentary channels. You look at the header, it says, we talk about stuff. And I have no idea what position they're coming from because it's not in your best interest to have a point of view. It's better to just cover drama and make AdSense money off of it. If you have a specific ideology that goes against what social media pushes, look where I am. I'm on Rumble, nobody watches your video, and everyone piles on you.
So there's a very big difference. The content you used to make, I wasn't super familiar, but I went back and looked. You used to make thought-provoking, more artsy pieces, and then you transitioned more into lecturing and life advice. The content I make is just purely entertainment, like things I find fun. Now, I do give my perspective on issues, like on things that I'm passionate about, like Cuties. We'll tie it back to Cuties. When I saw that film and the way it was advertised with children twerking on the cover, it made me very upset and very concerned that pedophilia was going to be more normalized, because now you have Netflix with a front page catalog piece that I consider, and many others consider, to be child. So I would give my perspective on that. This is gross and here's why. And then I'd list out some of the absolutely repulsive scenes, like the children watching like campsites, twerking, being filmed twerking, all of it with real children. That's a real problem. When I'm covering goofy like Gwyneth Paltrow being sued for a ski accident, do I need to tie it back into like the woke agenda or something in order for you to get my perspective? I don't think so. It should just be about entertainment. That's always like
it should
the
not
core
just
of
be
it.
about entertainment. There should be some value that you're adding to your audience. I think that that's a problem, and I think that your audience should pressure you and to have a more specific point of view rather than just saying fun things. You can be funny and still have a point of view. It's getting harder for men out there, and you see it. They go to jail, and people laugh about it. It's getting harder for men to survive in this climate now.
The conversation got heated at points, but they ended on a positive note.
I want to thank you for starting that whole Sneako hate brigade, because it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I am guilty of doing the same things that I am mad about, and I do attribute a lot of that to being canceled and a lot of resentment about that. But I just have to spread positivity now and not engage in the same type of behavior that I criticize. Yeah, you're right about that. So I'm just gonna go and, I'm not gonna go attack mode anymore. I don't think that there's any value to that. It's just gonna come back to me.
Well, I actually really appreciate the conversation, man. It's nice to hear like a more human side of you outside of like, what I see on Twitter or Rumble.
It's actually amazing that internet drama ended in a mature and well-handled conversation. But if you think that meant everybody now understands Sneako and they're on his side, you'd be wrong. On a post in the Critical subreddit asking if people's opinions about Sneako changed after their conversation, you can see replies like, "No, it just makes me hate him even more because seeing him act out of character just proves to me he is one of the biggest grifters today and purposely takes advantage of his vulnerable young audience for profit." And not really. My opinion on Charlie, however, has skyrocketed. Always loved him and his content, but this conversation really showed how reasonable and down to earth he is. Ironic that Sneako tries to make himself a role model, but Charlie ended up doing that for me just by being himself. Although people realize that Sneako is not actually this manic, loud, obnoxious person in real life, they still just fundamentally disagreed with his worldview. And oddly enough, it made people like Charlie even more. Yet while Charlie was receiving more praise than ever, just 1 month later we would see one of the first of 2 times where Charlie received a major amount of criticism for one of his takes. When nearly his entire audience was disagreeing with him in the comments of his reaction to iDubbbz apologizing for his past behavior on YouTube. For context, iDubbbz, aka Ian, was one of the OGs of YouTube commentary back in 2014, 2015, and 2016, who rose to popularity with his Content Cop series after multiple videos received tens of millions of views. iDubbbz was known for being extremely edgy, often being blatantly racist or using racial slurs, being homophobic, harassing or bullying others, and creating all-around controversial material that under no circumstances would be allowed on YouTube today. However, for many years, he and his die-hard, cult-like fanbase remained firm in their stance that this was all just jokes, comedy, entertainment, and by no means did his humor represent him as a man. Whereas his detractors felt that even if his jokes didn't represent his values, they attracted the attention and fandom of actual racists, bigots, homophobes, and justified as well as perpetuated that behavior. As Ian got older, he began to transform his content. He grew tired of his previous edgy ways and began to resent them. And in May of 2023, he posted a video titled, "I Miss the Old iDubbbz," where he addressed his conflicting thoughts and feelings about his legacy on YouTube, as well as apologizing for his past behavior.
I was being very bigoted in a lot of my videos, and I justified it because, I didn't think it was too serious. And I thought that people were going to see that I had good intentions. But
How you gonna be
that's
racist with good intentions?
so silly, Casual racism is still racism. Casual bigotry is still bigotry.
Casual racism.
And, I said a lot of things that I look back at and I cringe now, and I'm like, that is an awful thing to say. I've just always had this dumb philosophy that I'm not responsible for, my audience and how they behave beyond what content I put out. And that's stupid, and it's led to a lot of hate and a lot of bad outcomes. And I just want to make it clear that I am absolutely responsible for my audience.
Charlie was very quick to chime in and give his opinion on Ian's apology, which may sound strange, but reacting to YouTuber apologies is somewhat of a tradition here on the platform.
He wasn't happy with the content he made or the person he was, and now he's trying to apologize for the videos he made. And I, once again, have to completely disagree with the way he looks at it. I feel like his perspective on it is very warped by the way the internet has evolved over the years. The way he talks about this content makes it sound like he used to murder puppies for these videos, which it was never that extreme. I very much would consider it edgy. It was 2016 edginess in all of its glory. That was entirely the brand. And for its time, it lived peacefully. You know, all four nations, water, earth, fire, air, lived together in harmony with all this edginess going on. Now, obviously, times have changed, and he has changed. He's gotten older. He's in his 30s now. In your 30s, it's not exactly entertaining to just be spamming slurs for shock humor. I don't find that entertaining, and he doesn't either. So it's totally fine to want to distance yourself from making content like that. But I don't think it was a mistake that he made those videos. Like, they're not hurtful, nor do I really think they're damaging.
So Charlie seemingly disagrees with Ian's personal decision to apologize for his past behavior. Then he downplays Ian's behavior by saying it wasn't that bad. This is where he started getting immense criticism, notably from popular YouTuber D'Angelo Wallace.
iDubbbz literally encouraged people to say the N-word with a hard R. How is that anything other than harmful content? This was a talking point, an extended talking point in a video that has 30 million views now. Now, it might not be harmful or damaging to Charlie because, you know, he would obviously be unaffected by words like that, but surely Charlie doesn't think iDubbbz was actually apologizing to him, right?
I just don't think that the apology is really warranted. You can explain, like, I just don't like making that content anymore, so I won't. I even regret making that content because it's kind of cringe now. But to think that it is this huge, massive problem, like you made an unforgivable mistake, is a little weird to me.
This is the part where I was like, hold on. You really just heard iDubbbz say, I apologize to black people for being racist, and then you got on your channel and said, I don't think the apology was warranted? Broski. He also apologized to Tana Mojo and other subjects of his content cops as well, but like nowhere in this apology was anything directed towards anyone like Charlie. How are you going to reject an apology to me before I have time to accept it?
D'Angelo was not the only person who was confused and disappointed by Charlie's take. His comment section was very quick to call him out. It's really easy to pretend there was no harm done when you weren't the one being harmed. Charlie really underestimates how much of an effect iDubbbz had on the online community. It's not like he was a child when he was doing this stuff. He was a 28-year-old man. Making a 21-minute video about how his 10-minute apology was too much and unnecessary is peak irony. Charlie received so much backlash that 7 hours later he uploaded another 18-minute video called Huge L Take.
I've noticed we've got ourselves a little bit of a sour hootenanny on our hands here after my latest video on the iDubbbz situation. It's being hailed as a big L take from old Charles White here, and in the cyberspace, an L take is criminal, and the punishment for the crime is 1,000 different labels.
From there, he tried to clarify his previous 20-minute video about iDubbbz's apology.
Since then, people have done some very uncharitable interpretations of what I've been saying, and I guess I can't really blame them. If I'm not abundantly clear with where I stand on things, I've learned that everything gets lost with ambiguity, and people run with the absolute most negative narrative they can find, and the wildest ways to misconstrue some statements. So I actually can't even be mad about that.
Nobody really misinterpreted Charlie's first video. They understood his points very clearly. This has mad, I'm sorry you got offended energy. Just hold the L, brother. You earned it. The overarching criticism was expressed very clearly by D'Angelo Wallace.
Here's the thing, and this is probably the point I'm gonna be the harshest about, sorry, but no matter how you interpreted iDubbbz's original reasoning for posting that apology, no matter how you look at it, that apology was not intended for you. You've taken a situation that is really important to a lot of people, and you have centered it around yourself and your opinion. And I know that might sound really similar to what commentary is all the time, but it's really different in this specific case because in doing so, you're invalidating the experiences of others by downplaying the severity of what they said they went through. And you're doing so on a platform that is so large, it will completely drown out any conversation from the people who are actually affected by this.
Charlie was perceived as wrong, then the internet as well as his own fan base criticized him, and he kinda doubled down on it. Sneeko would be very proud of him. And Sneeko also agreed that Ian should not have apologized.
Yo, bro, what is he waffling about, man? Isn't this lowering your testosterone right now? Don't you feel transgender watching this?
And for well over 1 year, Charlie and Sneako went their separate ways. They both stayed very consistent in their respective careers, and it seemed like their beef was over for good. And then Ava Chris Tyson got exposed for being a PDF file a few weeks ago, which set the internet ablaze. Chris Tyson is Mr. Beast's best friend. You know, the #1 most subscribed creator on the platform. This controversy, when it's all said and done, will probably be considered one of the biggest in the platform's history. And naturally, when there's major controversies, all big YouTubers will chime in and give their opinions. Sneako and many others online incorrectly predicted that Charlie would not discuss the Ava situation at all because it was too controversial.
Yo, look out, Moist Critical is not gonna go talk about the Chris situation because he wants to have the Mr. Beast collab. Bro, you're gonna talk about every other trending situation, Dr. Disrespect, Sneako, anything that goes viral goes on your main channel. Chris, the associate of the biggest YouTube channel in the world, you do a 4-minute clip on your second channel. Stop coping and be a journalist if you're gonna be a journalist, or just say that you wanna have the collab. Stop lying.
The 4-minute clip he was referring to was Charlie on a live stream giving some quick thoughts on the situation before making an entire main channel video about it. Obviously, we now know that Charlie made a main channel video breaking down everything, which was uploaded on July 23rd, 2024, called Ava Chris Tyson Situation is Crazy. In this video, Charlie gave the details about the grooming and PDF file allegations against Mr. Beast's friend and crew member, who was caught sending sexually suggestive and explicit messages to a 14-year-old, as well as indulging in lolly, which is a controversial genre of anime or manga that features explicit sexual depictions of underage female characters. As a result of the Protect Act of 2003, lolicon meets the federal criteria for child prawn. Charlie's video has over 10 million views, which is well above the average views he normally gets. Therefore, it's safe to assume that Charlie's video was watched by a bunch of people who don't normally watch him, or they don't really understand his viewpoints or values. In the video, Charlie uses they/them pronouns while referring to Chris, who goes by she/her at the time of Charlie recording the video, which led to multiple tweets calling him transphobic. 22 minutes and doesn't once refer to her by her actual pronouns. So disappointing to see Moist Critical refuse to be an actual ally of the LGBT community just to appease the transphobes in his audience. Literally every other person got referred to by their pronouns except Ava. It wasn't just Charlie. Kai Cenat was also criticized for doing the same thing while reacting to Chris and using he/him pronouns. The misgendering on purpose is so gross. She's a pedo. Attack that she's a pedo, not her identity, please. Whereas the counter argument to this was said by ex-Mr. Beast crew member Jake the Viking. Pronouns don't mean shit when you're caught talking inappropriately to kids. Sorry, not sorry. It's not that trans allies disagreed with the criticism of Ava. They just believe that not using preferred pronouns, even if the person in question is potentially a PDF file, leads to the normalization of people not using transgender preferred pronouns as a whole. Whereas we all know there are opposers that are just not interested in using preferred pronouns as a whole, and then others that are like, I will respect anyone's pronouns, but not a file. I personally thought that they/them was considered gender neutral. And if you don't know or are unsure of somebody's pronouns, then using they/them is not considered offensive. And there's a lot of research that supports that train of thought, but Twitter says otherwise. Sneako kept pressing the entire industry to talk about Ava Tyson, and then criticized the ones who did speak out.
Pokemon says, I don't know all the details regarding the Chris situation, but I want to make it clear, any inappropriate behavior towards minors is unacceptable regardless of who you are. It's the same people you see this as an opportunity to attack the trans community. What? Satan runs the industry and Pokemon is proof. Chris gets caught being a file, and she defends the trans community instead of disavowing Chris. These are the standards of every streamer right now. They care more about the demonic trans ideology than kids getting groomed.
He continued to express his thoughts and feelings about Ava through a barrage of tweets that were getting him an above average amount of engagement and a ton of support.
And has to lie and say that Chris Tyson is a woman, which is so funny because in a world where this dude is losing everything for touching children, messaging children, people care more about misgendering a pedophile than the actual pedophile acts.
Sneako is a real one for that. People who are defending Chris's pronouns are undercover pedos. And of course, he had to send some shots at Charlie.
Today I was looking at Twitter and I was looking for what's trending the most,
and this is the weirdest thing. It's mixed with poopy diarrhea and dog shit mixed in a smoothie. So Chris Tyson was actually a pedophile, but this guy Sneako that I don't like because he tells the truth, how is he going to tell me that I'm afraid of losing the poopy diarrhea Mr. Beast collab?
So during Charlie's video about Ava, he shifted the focus to discuss Sneako's opinion on the age of consent.
Now, Sneako, I hope you're ready for the cold water here, because I'm going to be brutally honest with you. When this story broke, I thought for sure, I would have actually bet money that you would have been some kind of contrarian talking about how this is actually not a big deal and everyone who's pretending to be outraged about it is actually just a hypocrite. Because you have been on this crusade for a while now about not agreeing with the age of consent. So I really thought you'd be talking about how, oh, this is just like Dr. Disrespect, who you ran hard defense for with this imaginary 17-year-old you cooked up in your head based off of one fake email from an anonymous source. And I thought you would be going that angle again, saying like, oh, well, that 13-year-old was probably very mature.
Age of consent should be maturity. It's not even 18 in most states. Why do you even believe that? It's because in Hollywood, it's 18, so that gets pushed everywhere. Most places, 16. And if you question that, then they call you a pedo. I believe the age of consent is the age of maturity. It should be called the age of marriage. Age of consent implies that you're gonna have out of wedlock. I think it's better that people get married at 16, 17 than to have a bunch of premarital until they're 30 and they're washed up and then they get jaded and they're on birth control and they have dried up eggs. I think that's better for society.
He's so pseudo-intellectual that he actually argues for things that defend pedophilia.
He then also played a clip where Sneako was confronted about his view on the age of consent but could not provide a clear answer.
We update or not, what do you think the age of consent should be, Sneako?
Yeah, this is not an important conversation.
No, it's a super important. You don't think kids are not as an important conversation? What do you think the age of consent should be? If you want to be consistent, you don't think anything updates, just tell us what you think it should be.
I think it should be at a developed age.
What is a developed age? If you had to set a law for it, what would you set it? What would you set it about?
I'd say it's a developed age.
No, answer the question, you fucking pussy. Holy shit, you're such a cowardly fuck. Stand up for what you believe in. If you actually are Muslim, you're actually Islamic or whatever, then stand up for your beliefs. Every other Muslim scholar online will do this. Do it. Stand tall on it. Don't act like a little pussy in here trying to grill XQC on modern meta-ethics or whatever if you won't even answer basic questions about your worldview. What should the age of consent be?
You see how
you want to answer the question? You see how he's going to yap and not answer the question? I'm going to ask the same thing when you're done. Go ahead.
I just answered the question. I just told
What was the age?
Sneako also DM'd Charlie to explain himself more about his thoughts on the age of consent. People should legally drive and marry at the same age. Is that driver's permit age 15 or driver's license age 16? As Muslims, we believe it's our duty to follow the law of the land. It wasn't a spiritual question. I have no issue with any faith at all. This is a personal belief question that your response didn't answer. I'm happy to discuss this in a call if you're that curious. And that was it. Almost a year and a half later, the second official Sneako vs. Moist critical debate was established. Charlie retroactively expressed the same sentiments as the first debate, that he thought it would just be a private phone call and not put on the internet.
I didn't know this was a debate nor a stream until about an hour and 40 into it, roughly somewhere in that ballpark. I am not a debater. I've never claimed to be one. I never want to be a debater. I've always said that I believe conversations are the most productive because debates always devolve into what side can score the most points by explaining their thought process, even if the position is wrong.
Sneako began the debate by arguing that there should not be a hard line agreed upon age of consent because everyone matures differently, as well as that we shouldn't let the government define at what age someone is an adult.
That's not the point. I'm saying, you're saying that the US defined adult as 18. Well, I'm saying 200 years ago, the age of marriage in America was 10 and the UK was 7. Right, so if the government decides to change it, you're saying it's 18. If the government, maybe if Kamala Harris gets elected, then the new legal age of an adult is 25. And there could be reasons to say that. They graduated college, they don't leave the house until this age. Their brains don't develop until they're 25. Your frontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. A lot of people aren't making serious money. They're not able to live independently. A lot of things that you could use to classify an adult don't happen for the new age American until 25 years old. So if Kamala Harris raised it to 25, would you then say that that's the new age? Would you agree with that?
I think that'd be totally understandable. Like,
right,
I think
so
that's fine.
So then does that make anybody who sleeps with an under 25-year-old, does that now make them a pedophile?
No, I don't think necessarily that makes them a retroactive pedophile.
So then what's a pedophile?
It's an accepted definition of 18 for a long time
is
not for that
agreed
long.
upon.
Not for that long, and not through most states, and not through most countries across the world.
Charlie believes that at 18 there should be a hardline age of consent, so there isn't a gray area for predators to exist in and take advantage of minors.
So a 17-year-old who's 364 days, that's a kid?
Yep, I'm gonna use very hard set terms. If it is under 18, even if it's 17, 364, that's still a kid.
That's a kid. Okay, so right now,
I think it's important to have these hard lines in the sand where it doesn't have this kind of wiggle room.
Sneeko then clarifies his definition.
You keep thinking that I'm saying this because I want the age to be lowered. That's not what I'm talking about at all.
That's what it comes across as, though. When you
maybe with the internet brain, because people in the West, they want to have sex all the time and they have a different sort of mindset, right? Here in the Middle East, I'm in the Middle East right now. They want to get married and then have sex. So people, just because I'm saying this does not mean automatically lower. No. That's not the case at all.
We don't have to talk about sex. Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? I would imagine probably not.
It depends. So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe like that. Consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father, right? If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married.
They continued arguing back and forth on this issue for 40 minutes straight while neither side was wavering. Charlie was firm on his stance that anyone under 18 is a child and no child can consent to sex and/or marriage. So Sneeko pivoted to a different question regarding minors.
You could take hormone blockers, you could take puberty blockers, okay, when you're a child. When you're 16, you can go change your gender, but you can't get married? Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty obvious question.
No, it's not. It's not. See, if you cut your penis off, like Crystal Mr. Beast, if you cut your penis off, that is a life-altering decision. You can't glue it back on. You can get divorced if you get married. This is a commitment that you're taking. A child, based off the liberal point of view that you believe in, they can have gender surgery. They can change forever. Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
If your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a familial decision to make, yeah.
Okay.
Sneeko laughs and even Charlie laughs because they both realize that Charlie is using the exact same line of thinking that Sneeko used to justify the age of consent.
Okay, so a child can cut their penis off and take hormone blockers and change their biology forever, but they can't get married?
Oh, that's a decision that now extends beyond the family, because now you're bringing in a different party. So if you have someone that's your age coming in saying, I want to marry that child, I don't think that can happen under any circumstance.
So no. But it's still a personal decision. You're still deciding.
Because there's
take the other party out of the equation. It's a personal decision. If I'm 16 and I personally want to marry this girl, she's beautiful, she's 21 years old, her family wants to do it, my family wants to do it. You're saying I can't do that. We're both consenting. I'm ready to go. I'm physically mature, but I'm not allowed to marry because Moy says that woman's a pedophile. But if then the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is. I believe everyone has I believe everyone has the right to do with their body what they want to do.
Okay, 100%. So everyone has the right to do with their body, but not when it comes to a sacred marriage where they have kids, where they add to society.
That's no longer just you. They can't possibly wrap their head around this adult that has been preying on them. Like, I don't know why you can't see that. A 16-year-old can't be making this decision on this adult who is convincing them that I am the right choice for you for life.
Right. But a 9-year-old boy can go into a clinic and decide that doctor, that 40-year-old doctor, can cut my penis off?
If that's a decision he and his family wants to make, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Absolutely does not.
Okay.
Hey, maybe a 24-year-old watched your streams like, oh, you know what? This 15-year-old's pretty mature. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to talk to them. Do you think that's cool?
No, that's not cool. You're supposed to talk to the father before you get married. If her father's not okay with it,
that's the issue you had with that scenario?
Yeah, but when you approach marriage, you don't just go approach a girl and that's not what Islamically is allowed. You're supposed to go to the father and supposed to see where it goes from there.
So that's never what I said.
24-year-old talks to the father of a 15-year-old and gets his permission. Now it's cool.
Get to the father and say, like, am I interested in marrying your physically matured, your adult daughter? Okay? Is she okay with it?
15-year-old,
Ask
your
the mother.
15-year-old daughter.
Get the consensus. Yes, and if he's okay with it, she's okay with it. I think that's fine. That's fine. If I told you when you were a kid that it was okay legally and morally to cut your dick off, would you agree?
Like, what do you mean? Would I do it, or would I say that that's okay?
Would you say that that's okay?
I'd have no idea on how to even process something like that. I'm a fucking child.
The full debate was 2.5 hours long, but honestly, these clips summarize it pretty well. The clips of the conversation went nuclear viral on Twitter. However, much of the focus seemed to be criticizing Charlie and not Sneako. People who were against minors transitioning were attacking Charlie for his viewpoint. Many simply called him out for being a fence sitter, or someone who was trying so hard to be middle ground and non-controversial to try and appease everyone. However, some people did say they were both wrong, like when some ordinary gamers responded to Nick Merckx attacking Charlie. Yet enough space in this tweet to include how the other guy believed 15-year-olds should get married to 20-something-old dudes. Why not mention that? That whole debate was bad takes. Or when XQC said,
well, I mean, if I'm your parents, okay, well, I mean, you're not gonna have a tattoo before you're 18. You're not gonna fucking fuck shit for life before you're 18. After you're 18, if you want to be a whatever, I guess I failed as a parent at that point. I feel like I've failed as a parent. I failed to show you the correct things for you to do good after 18, right? And what I can do is live with my choices and feel sad about it, whatever, and it sucks. But I definitely will not fucking do all that and enable the whatever before 18.
Charlie then went on another live stream where he tried to clarify what he thought Sneako was saying.
And now I give a perspective on something that immediately gets misconstrued. And I do recognize a lot of it's my fault. I assumed that Sneako was talking in hyperbole about a 9-year-old getting their dick cut off, because I didn't have the assumption that anyone thought that is how transitioning works. There is, under no circumstances, any legality behind a kid saying, I want to change genders, and then immediately going in and getting their dick cut off. That doesn't happen. I thought he was just talking in hyperbole. Obviously, no one says that's good. That's not at all what I was saying. I thought he was talking about the overall point of a child transitioning, which is years-long process. And you can't even get that surgery legally until you are 18. Like, I didn't think that was a literal statement he was making. I did not, and I guess I should have assumed that he was being literal, and that's on me.
Many people, Sneako included, claimed that he fully understood the question, since the debate was 2.5 hours long where they discussed the same topic multiple times. He did not misunderstand anything. He's just panicking and is confused since he's never been put in this situation before. Sneako quickly pressured Charlie to post the debate on his main channel where he felt Charlie lost.
You know Moist Critical? We did a debate and he hasn't uploaded it. Can you tell him, upload the debate?
Yes, upload the debate. So we know you because
upload it.
Yeah, upload it.
Upload it. Yeah. I think he's afraid. He said he was going to upload it, but he still hasn't. It's been 3 days. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
We want to see you. That's why we don't know you, because you're not uploading stuff. We know him, but
we don't know you.
Basically, Sneako thought Charlie was too scared to expose himself. Then some interesting news would hit social media saying that Charlie has made the decision to leave both the official podcast and Red Thread. He wants to go on an indefinite hiatus to scale back his time spent on the internet. While this post was directly talking about his podcasts, many people reported that he was taking a break from the internet entirely, which made Sneako and many others jump to the conclusions that Charlie could not handle the pressure and making Sneako look like the winner. And in less than 24 hours, Charlie posted a video called Moist Critical Situation is Crazy, where he clarified and discussed all of the controversy surrounding him in the past week or so, starting with him allegedly quitting the internet.
I can't even just peacefully walk away from some projects without it being a massive reaction over actual nothing burger information.
And although Charlie made it seem like he was kind of randomly deciding to step away from these podcasts and maybe it was a coincidence, under the circumstances it did seem like he was stepping away or making the announcement that he was stepping away due to the recent drama. And it's not unreasonable to think that. Charlie spent the rest of this video talking about his debate with Sneako, more specifically how he felt Sneako's take on the age of consent is outrageous.
Unironically saying a 14-year-old adult, I think, would make most sensible people want to puke. There's so many instances of this, and a lot of the conversation was spent with him talking about like overseas age of consent, like talking about how Japan's age of consent was 13 for the longest time, this and that. But the whole thing was like pulling teeth, and it was painful. And I think it's extremely alarming perspective to have. Unironically calling a 14-year-old and 12-year-old mature enough for a marriage, those are middle schoolers. Like, holy shit. I think that is extremely concerning to be advocating for something like that. Like, would Sneako be okay if his best friend ended up marrying a 14-year-old? He certainly shouldn't be. No one should be okay with something like that. Like, that's terrible. That is actually terrible.
It wasn't until after Charlie posted his video was there an uptick in people defending him on Twitter. Now there were more viral tweets saying that Sneako was the one with the concerning opinions and Charlie was receiving unfair criticism. Charlie then discusses how he thought Sneako was speaking in hyperbole when referring to gender reassignment surgery.
I thought he was talking in hyperbole. I thought he was just exaggerating, being over the top, talking about the entire subject of transitioning. I had no idea that any living, breathing human being actually thought that that's how transitioning works, where you just go into a doctor saying, I feel like switching genders, and they lay you down on the operating table and just snip your whole fucking meat off.
Now, gender reassignment surgery for minors is very uncommon, especially the cutting your penis off one. Changing genders is a long process. It's slow, thought out, typically over the course of years while consulting with multiple medical professionals. Now, are there cases where minors do get surgery? Yes. Reuters reported the number of minors who received a mastectomy, which is the removal of breasts, otherwise known as top surgery, averages around 260 minors per year. Also, transitioning from female to male is much more common. Adolescents assigned female at birth initiate transgender care 2.5 to 7.1 times more frequently than those assigned male at birth. But Charlie assumed that Sneako was talking about gender-affirming care as a whole and was just using the snip your off as shock value to simplify this process. Gender-affirming care encompasses a range of social, psychological, behavioral, and medical interventions designed to support and affirm an individual's gender identity when it conflicts with the gender they were assigned at birth. So anything from talking to a psychologist to maybe running some tests to taking hormones and puberty blockers all count as gender-affirming care. And this care is illegal in these 24 states. While many people think that transphobia is simply the reason why it's illegal, and there are definitely lawmakers who have made it clear that is the reason why, there is also just not a ton of research or information about the short-term and long-term effects of transitioning. Puberty blockers and sex hormones do not have FDA approval for children's gender care. No clinical trials have established their safety for such off-label use, and in 2016 the FDA ordered makers of puberty blockers to add a warning about psychiatric problems to the drug's label after the agency received several reports of ending thoughts in children who were taking them. More broadly, no large-scale studies have tracked people who receive gender-related medical care as children to determine how many remained satisfied with their treatment as they aged and how many eventually regretted transitioning. The same lack of clarity holds true for the contentious issue of detransitioning, when a patient stops or reverses the transition process. One overarching reality about the Sneako vs. Penguins beef is that we put an insurmountable amount of pressure on YouTubers and celebrities to speak about social issues that they clearly are uneducated on, instead of putting the pressure on politicians and experts who actually could progress the conversation further. Then again, we know a lot of these experts and politicians hide behind criticism. They often refuse to answer the important questions, and when people come up with their interpretations of their lack of clarity, then it's considered a conspiracy theory. Maybe YouTubers are doing the right thing by talking about these issues, even though there is no doubt that this is somewhat somewhat of a business decision to discuss these things. Generally speaking, these topics receive more views, which then means more ads and more money. And if they want the benefits of speaking on the issues when it's easy, then they should be able to take the criticism for when it's hard. Because of this whole firestorm, Charlie announced that he is slowing down on talking about drama.
It hasn't been as fun recently. It hasn't. And the main thing, if you've been around the channel for a while, is I've always wanted this to be fun and never feel like a job. And as hard as it is for me to admit this, a lot of this kind of stuff, it has just started to feel like less fun and more of, well, gotta do this because I'm expected to. Like anytime I go live, most of chat is just telling me about the latest in whatever's happening in the creator space or some other like extremely negative thing going on. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to learn all about that once I turn stream off. So then I spend a few hours learning about these things, and it's all just really upsetting stuff. Like, it's not happy. It's all very sad, bad stuff.
Sneeko, on the other hand, will not be slowing down. His message remains the same, and he respects Charlie for having the conversation in the first place.
Critical, and I want to be, let's be respectful to him for even being willing to have that conversation. It takes balls to do it. You know how many people are going to be willing to have a conversation like that? Not many. Not many YouTubers, and he's probably the biggest YouTube commentator in the world.
I've personally done more research on this topic more than I ever have just to get a good perspective on both sides, which I would say is a net positive overall, because at the end of the day, it is your decision to determine how you feel about any issue. But if you did not do your own research, then can you really say it's your opinion?
Yo, how long was that damn video, yo? I didn't even know it was gonna be that long. It was. Shout out to Patrick CC, man. Yeah, that was hella weird. This was crazy. Oh, I got my whatchamacallit downloaded too, y'all. My Windows 11 downloaded for the PC build tomorrow, so I can't wait for that either. So let's see, hour and a half until Raw. I guess we can just play the last little bit of the game. It's all about the game. Fousey, that Fousey guy is kind of crazy. I don't give a hoot.
EA Sports.
Servers are down. What else? This might be the last, y'all. This is it.
Welcome, everyone. The ultimate game in the college football season. Everything has built to this. The battle for the national championship and college football immortality. A moment that every young football player grows up dreaming about. And these two teams have survived the expanded playoff format. They have battled through a regular season, multiple playoff victories, all sorts of challenges and adversity, and they've arrived at this moment, the battle for that precious trophy. As we see the number 2 seed in this playoff, the Miami Hurricanes, taking on a team from the SEC, the Florida Gators. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Chris Fowler, joined as always by Kirk Herbstreit. And this is it. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves here as national champions. Let's get this going.
Let's get it going now. I'm That's how they gonna do me? I had Joe for dinner. Fish taco. That's how you do me?
Looking for a gap. It's Johnson. And he's brought down, but there is a flag on the field. Let's check out this call.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those games, guys. All-American too at that.
Be a drive killer. This line getting set up. It's a first down play. Quarterback sets up, looking for an open man. Grab down the middle. It's Johnson. They bring him down quickly. A short pitch and catch to get a little bit closer to the marker. Second down after that previous play. Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. Tackle finally made. That's a very solid gain, but not close to first down yardage yet. Offense facing a 3rd and long from the 28. Got to have your pass protection in order in this play. Dropping back, we're going to throw for the first down. Quarterback escapes the pocket. And he'll step out of bounds.
That's a first.
Solid gain on that run.
No, man. That's bull. 14. Come on. Already? This is part of this game, man.
And the ball is handed off out of the shotgun. That's a nice wrap up there by the junior.
You know, in the era that we live in right now, everybody wants to spread the field around, try to create space, try to create one-on-one matchups, and the defense has countered over the years by trying to play out wide. But here's a great example. The defense has the ability to play wide, but still be solid at the line of scrimmage and not give up big run plays.
First down here for this offense. Everyone moves the ball across the 40.
I think this defense keeps thinking about them throwing the football, and by doing that, they're opening up running lanes. Good positive yards there by the running back.
Catch made, but the defense gobbles him up for just a short gain. So now it's 3rd and short from the 43. Can they keep the drive going or perhaps face a tough 4th down decision? Can he make it to the marker? Tackled across midfield at the 48 and good enough for a first down. And the Canes churn out another first down. A pop pass on the jet sweep. It was a loss after the completion. That's a good play by the defense. Offense getting set. It's second down. He hands it off from the gun. And a decent gain there before the defense brings him down.
It's a good, solid gain. 5 or 6 yards. Love to see that from the running game.
Offense comes up to the line. They might have a chance for a couple more plays before the quarter expires. And that game will pick up a first down and move the football to the 36. And Florida has the lead here as we break for the quarter. We've reached the end of one in this battle for the national championship. Before moving on, let's check out the stats. The Hurricanes will have 1st and 10 here. From the shotgun now, here's a handoff inside.
I'll take that every single time. Offensive line is a nice job up front. This back's vision and ability to get positive yards by lowering his pads on full display right there.
And that pass rush has trapped him. It's a sack.
Boy, good job here getting into the backfield and coming up with this sack here by the defensive line for the Florida Gators. And Chris, you think about Florida, you think about defensive linemen, you think about an incredible history and legacy that they've had over the years. Start with Javon Curse.
First play of the drive, they'll come out throwing. On the move, looking deep. Defense breaks it up. Nice play. Incomplete. Here's the second down play.
Chris, I don't know if it's the hype of the national championship, the timing between the quarterback and his receivers, but they have not been able to get anything going at all here in the first half. And the problem is they're already down in this game. They've got to put the ball through the air and start hitting some passes, or there's no chance they come back and have a chance to win.
On first down, it's play action. Fires it to the wideout. It's caught downfield.
Ooh.
Finally brought out of the 12. An explosive play puts him in great scoring position. This offense has gotten going at long last. It's another 1st and 10. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. Getting to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a 3rd and long. Motion now from the tight end. Tailback with another carry.
Ooh, that safety is crucial, bro. Not letting nothing happen, huh?
Of the first down marker. Here we go, 3rd down, close to the goal line. They can still get a first down without scoring.
First, I mean,
he takes it in for the score.
Come on now.
Looking out throwing here to start the drive. Physical defending. That one falls incomplete. Brings up 2nd down. Quarterback drops back. We're going to test the secondary. He pulls it in for a big gain. They bring him down, but that's a solid gain on the play. Completion good for first down yardage for this offense. Quarterback drops back from the shotgun, looking for a receiver. Caught in the backfield. It's Johnson. 0 running room. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Getting set. Here's 2nd down. You snap it. Quarterback looking to throw the ball.
Damn, that plays out kind of plays kind of a lot.
26-yard line. This offense getting closer to the red zone. First down play call. How aggressive will it be? Looking to throw again. Bringing pressure. On the move, but can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. First down sack, pushes the ball back. 2nd down coming up. Quarterback drops back from the shotgun. Close to the tight end. The defender gets a hand in there to break the pass up. Offense sets the formation. It's 3rd down. Quarterback looking to connect with the receiver here. That one is incomplete. The defender was right there, and it brings up 4th down now.
Hey, it's an incompletion, but it's an...
Play fake, looking to throw on first down. And he'll loft it to the end zone. Incomplete. They cannot connect on the deep ball. The offense comes back out there. Not much time left. Perhaps just time for a couple plays before the half. Quarterback wants to throw it on 2nd down. And it's
Let's go.
Touchdown, Hurricane. Change the pre-snap look now. Off the play fake, looking to throw the football. And he lofts it toward the sideline. It's caught on the left side for a huge gain. No stopping him, takes it all the way. Touchdown, Miami.
This guy can do it all. We've seen him go behind coverage and make plays downfield. We can see him catch the ball underneath, just like this. When he catches the football, he is so dangerous after the catch. This one leads him.
And it's picked off in the end zone. They'll hand it off. It's a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Christine, the spread era over the years has always been very offensive. But I've been always impressed with defenses that really build their defense to play in space, still have an ability to be sound at the line of scrimmage and defend a running game.
Nice. Exactly that first, Speedy.
Good enough for a fresh set of downs.
The first, Speedy.
The guys up front line up. It's first down. And the wideout goes in motion. They flip it to him on the jet sweep. They stop him after a 6-yard gain. So 2nd and 4.
Man, that jet sweep action puts so much pressure on a defense. You get so locked in on the ball attacking you downhill. But when offenses sprinkle this kind of offense in and stretches this defense out wide, it can create some vertical seams for big plays.
Again, makes it 2nd and medium. They'll give it to the back. You get him down, but he crosses midfield, off the ball to 44.
Well, just a great play by the running back here. Just finding his lanes and exploding through the gap when it opened up.
And they'll go right back to
hole.
first down.
Get in the hole.
For a decent gain here in that running play. The game makes him second and medium. Here's the snap. Quarterback looking to throw. On the run, he'll let it go. He's got it for a big gain. They bring him down, but an explosive play by this offense. Big gain. The Canes lining up here on 1st and 10. An inside give now from the shotgun. And he stopped just short, down to the 2, but an excellent run. Back-to-back big plays. Defense is really set up 1st and goal now.
I don't give a hoot.
On the ground, trying to muscle it across the line. It goes backwards, losing 3 yards there.
It is tough to run the football inside this 5-yard line. Give all the credit to that defensive line, eating up those linemen, allowing the rest of the defense to fly to the football for that short loss.
The offense with some pre-snap eye candy. Tailback tests the middle of the defense. He powers into the end zone. Touchdown, Canes. Now a 2-point conversion attempt coming up.
I think we're starting to kind of see a theme here, Chris, today. That's his 2nd touchdown. The offensive line doing their job.
Running toward the end zone, but the defense forces a fumble.
Yo, we got 2 turnovers in the damn thing. What the hell?
Well, and that play ends in a complete disaster for the offense.
We lost our damn minds. Of course. Of course.
He'll hand it off.
Nice. First.
Breaking free at the 35. Tackle made at the 37. That's a solid game.
Boy, is this guy fun to watch or what? Here we are in the 4th quarter. Critical down in distances. And this guy just churning out yards the way he has most of this game.
I just know they want me to just, they're going to trip in. Oh, I know what they're going to do, man. Oh, game almost. Drop the controller. I only got 1, so I don't know. Oh, damage this one. Shit.
They're going to run it. That gets the carry. The sophomore with a strong tackle there.
And I like the run play here. And offensively, at this point in the game, you want to remain in that attack mode first, while also staying in bounds and working that clock.
I'm letting that clock go down if you haven't noticed, though. So, bear with me.
Handoff to the back. It'll keep the clock moving. It'll be smothered right at the line for no gain.
Well, with the lead here, this is where you want to just take your time. The defense, as we know, they are looking to do anything they can to create an aggressive play to try to create a turnover. So you got to work that clock, but also protect the football.
The ball to the ground. Defense falls on the ball. Crucial takeaway.
Because I cannot
believe it. The lead right? Ridiculous.
Little eye candy here from the offense. Some pre-snap motion. He'll hand it off. Gets some space around the 30. He'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage.
Looks like I gotta get to the 30. They're gonna start using it.
They'll run it here. Tackle made after just a short game.
Chris, this back has had a great day. They're winning the football game. I just looked at my stats. This guy's hit 99 yards on the day. You can tell how badly he wants to cross the 100-yard threshold. He's been superb today.
We head now to the 2-minute warning as this offense tries to bleed receiver coming in motion now. One man in the backfield who will get the football. And tackled after a small pickup there. And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. Big third down play. If they can't get the stop, they have to consider calling a timeout. And he pulls in the catch. Brought down to the 47, and that will move the sticks. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible. Tight end goes in motion before the snap. They'll go with the ground game here. Running back takes the handoff. Defense gets him down, but they'll take the gain on that play. And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. Second down after that run on the previous play. They'll give it to the running back. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup.
The defense coordinator this week all week telling us about gap integrity, not giving this running back any creases at all. Really sound defense on that play.
That gain sets up a third down play. Try and muscle for the first down. Brought down, but it's past the line to gain. Looks like a player is down injured at that last play.
Finally,
take a timeout to check it out. And the offense just takes a knee. And that'll do it. We have a national champion.
Watch this.
With the last team standing at the top
Damn.
of the national champion.
Well, it's
Shit
been
was
so
hard,
much
man.
fun to watch this team play all year long. They've had some challenging moments. They've been able to overcome them. And how fitting, a close game in the national championship. They come through one more time. And as you say, they
Get emotional,
hold the trophy. They are the national champions of the year.
Well, that's it. Dramatic punctuation to another outstanding season of college football. For Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Chris Fowler, and this has been a presentation of EA Sports College Football. Officially, your kings of the college football world and national champions, the Miami Hurricanes.
I got that boy. That boy went first round because of nasty. What now? What now, y'all? Start a franchise? What I do? Get my recruiting in? Not on the Senior Bowl? Nice. All right, we had no reason to Madden, y'all. Well, Madden hasn't came out yet. Oh. Well, I'll wait on this die. I should probably wait for the surface back up. I don't want to put the fire looking into this damn grab. Boy. Love you, Blue. Man, that's up. Woo. Right.
Welcome to Dynasty Mode. I'm Reese Davis, and it's time to start your coaching journey. First, select what next. It's time to select your rosters. Choose to use the latest EA Sports recommended roster or choose one you've created personally. Now it's time to customize your Dynasty experience. Choose your settings and customize your conferences, complete with unique rules and protected rivals.
don't even have follow What? Gotta get it in, Shawty. Get it, Shawty. Get it, Shawty.
Step right up! Step right up! This is hard for me too! I've had to kill half the tweakers in the county! You forget how to use your horn? Have some respect for pedestrians! Point of work. Step right up! Step right up! Gotta get back! I hope you're an organ donor! Understand your pain, friends! I'm here to offer a way out! You forget how to use your horn? Have some respect for pedestrians! That'll teach ya! Now, who have I left out? Get that creepy asshole! Go! You're dead! Brothers, come on! Don't worry! Plenty of me to go around. You ain't gonna be on that hog much longer! Hold the throttle, you pussy! Come on!
Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Alright, y'all. Look it. I'm about to cut to the we got the championship out the way, and I got the Patrick CC out the way. I'll be right back in an hour. I'll get something to eat. Mouth is so damn dry, so I'll be back for Raw at 1 hour. 1 hour. I'll be black. Thank you. Another quello. She love me in the morning. Ain't that right, fine? Alright. See y'all in an hour.